Bienvenue dans cette nouvelle VOD sur Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Alors, je sais qu'on a fini le jeu la dernière fois, mais maintenant, on va finir le jeu. On a fait la première fin, mais il y a une vraie fin. Et il faut qu'on fasse la vraie fin. Parce que sinon, on va rien comprendre à la suite. Donc, aujourd'hui, on essaie de finir le jeu. J'espère que j'ai assez de temps. Normalement, oui. C'est parti. Hop là. Bang. Le jeu de société. Ah oui, le à suivre dans le chapitre 5. Ouais, exactement. Exactement. Le truc, c'est que maintenant, on a théoriquement accès à tout le jeu. On peut faire toutes les extra ops, toutes les OPS spéciales et tout. Enfin bref. Tout le fun. Mais il y a une fin secrète. Alors, base. Plutôt bouffe ou renseignement, je vais le mettre en bouffe. Toi, tu vas aller en bouffe aussi. Ah oui, j'ai déjà dépensé des trucs, ok. Ok. Bah non, bah on va aller faire des missions. Hein. Ah oui. Ah oui, il y a le rendez-vous avec Paz. Ah, on a la mission 29. On la fera aussi. Bah bravo Big Boss, ça fait que travailler des gamines de 16 ans. Alors... Je me suis dit que la mettre à la cuisine, c'était mieux que de la mettre au renseignement. Voilà. Alors par contre... Je vais... Ah oui, pardon.
Hey, so far. Still shocked about being lied to by Zadornov, but she's actually getting along great with the crew here at Mother Base.
Really? That's good to hear.
Still, it's gotta be depressing for a girl her age to be cooped up on an offshore plant all day. Even if it is only temporary. I bet she'd love it if you took her out somewhere once in a while.
Voilà. Il y a un rendez-vous avec Paz sur la plage. Je vais tout simplement pas vous montrer ni vous faire entendre cette mission. Je vais la faire très rapidement pour la passer. Bam, clé de bras. Si seulement, mais même pas. On peut même pas faire ça. Je ne vous montrerai pas le CQC sur elle. Mais elle est vraiment obligatoire. Je crois que oui. Voilà, donc Snake arrive sur la plage, il y a Paz, il y a un coucher de soleil. Je vais vous décrire un peu ce qui se passe. Elle regarde le coucher de soleil avec un air un peu rêveur. Donc on peut aller la voir et interagir avec elle. Et moi je vais rien faire, juste sortir la boîte en carton près d'elle. Ou d'ailleurs, je vais faire plus intelligent que ça. Parce que je peux la poser à côté d'elle. Voilà. Non, ça ne suffit pas. Allez. Ok. Voilà. J'ai mis la boîte en carton près d'elle. Et c'est une mission terminée. Voilà. Bravo.
Snake, I got another report from the R&D team. They finished converting Mother Base into a hex plant. MSF's capabilities are up across the board, too. Our combat
j'ai fait un
team's
pro
contracts
toxique.
keep increasing. We're seeing action on a daily basis, and we're raking in a ton of GMP. Now this is how a business is supposed to look. At this rate, the sky's the limit. We're just getting started, Snake. Keep up the great work.
Snake, we fitted Zeke with its own AI pod. We were having trouble adjusting the AI, but Dr. Strangelove was able to get it up and running.
Strangelove?
Strangelove!
Quite a surprise, Snake.
Whoa, we're an army without borders. We need a deterrent against foreign intervention. That's what Zeke is for. It may even prove necessary to...
I'm not against deterrence itself. The problem is when a nation comes to rely on it. All that does is force a burden on its people. The same people that constitute the nation itself. The existence of nations is detrimental to man. That's why I, one without a nation, see potential in MSF. But power is required for you to distance yourself from nations. I will do whatever I can to assist with that.
Glad to hear it.
And I merely lent Huey a helping hand. I will not give Zeke an AI like hers.
I wouldn't expect you to.
Je vais pas décrire plus en quoi consistait la mission en question, parce que c'est la raison pour laquelle j'ai pas voulu la montrer. Voilà, fin de la phrase. On va s'en tenir à la description de Celtica, ça consiste juste à manger des petits gâteaux en regardant le coucher de soleil. Il venait de très loin celui-là. Ah mais non. Oh, putain. Bon. Faisons la mission 29.
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission and proceed to the Fulton recovery point so we can get you back alive and well. Good luck out there.
Playa del Alba means Beach of Dawn. The morning sun is so beautiful over the Caribbean.
Beach of Dawn, huh? Perfect place to start a mission.
The clear blue water, the white sand, the swaying palm trees. You cannot get more South American than here. It is paradise on earth.
Yeah, guess I should have packed my Hawaiian shirt.
The
Oui.
coral reefs and mangrove forests protect the small fish in the area. Sea turtles come to lay their eggs on these beaches. We are not the only ones who enjoy this place. It is heaven for more than just humans. Bosque del Alba means Forest of Dawn. Naturally, it is situated on the east coast. It is your standard tropical rainforest. Everything you would imagine in a jungle.
No sign of morning sun here.
The foliage is too thick for direct sunlight to hit the floor. I do not know how easy it will be making your way through here.
I'll be fine. This isn't my first trip to a jungle.
Le camouflage chemise hawaïenne.
Sabotaging enemy bases is another principle of guerrilla warfare. You will need explosives for that. And naturally, once they detonate, the enemy will know you're there. So you need to make sure you have enough time to get to safety.
Oui, bon. Ah putain, ça l'a pas passé. J'ai oublié d'en prendre. Ah bah les revoilà,
Stay out of the enemy's sight as you recover those supplies. And don't get lost. Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
¿Dónde están los otros? Ah, aquí. Est-ce qu'il y en a un troisième? Bah oui, il y en a bien un troisième, ouais. Hop là.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed on board helicopter.
C'est bizarre, j'ai beaucoup de temps. Il y a une autre zone ou quoi?
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete. Head for the recovery zone.
Now you just have to make it to the goal point. Keep your guard up.
Ah. Vas-y, j'ai du temps, je vais aller me balader. Bizarre que passe parle de plage. Bah, je sais qu'il y a la plage là-bas, mais... C'est là où on avait commencé le jeu.
You see some sort of weird animal over by the pier?
Oh. C'est quoi ça?
A talking cat. Trenya. Creatures, even rarer than a talking cat. Monsters. Sorry, kitty, but I'm no hunter. You're not exactly ordinary yourself. Not to be rude, but I've got things to do, so if you need someone to go monster hunting with you, find someone else. Sounds perfect.
Oui, c'est un spin-off avec Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. Ils auraient pu abréger les miaou, c'est légèrement agaçant. Comment ça? Prendre des sons qui ressemblent moins à des grincements de porte, mais enfin. Un chat, quoi. Je sais pas, ça me choque pas. Imaginer un chat parler, ça me donne ça aussi, hein, dans ma tête. Bon bah on va voir sa fameuse quête de chasseur. Ratalos. Je sais pas ce que c'est.
This is a high-risk mission. You'll be facing some powerful opposition, but it's nothing you can't handle. Believe in yourself.
D'ailleurs, la ferme Poki dont il parle, c'est le hub de Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. Alors. On va prendre la PKM. Non, attends. On va prendre surtout une autre tenue. Voilà. Tiens donc, Chico.
Chico, I met that talking cat.
The legendary Trenya? Really?
Trenya, yeah, that's what it called itself. Is it famous?
In certain circles, yeah.
I'm still having trouble believing it. I never thought I'd be talking to an animal one day. What a world.
Amazing you could understand his language.
Picking up the local lingo is one of the basics of intelligence work.
That's what makes you the boss. Hey, say something in Trenya's language, will you?
Meow. Meow. Meow, meow, meow.
Wow. I have no idea what you're saying.
Of course you wouldn't.
So what did Trenya say?
It said it would take me to that island you talked about.
Meow.
Really? Oh, take me too, boss, please.
I know you must be excited, but we don't know what's out there. Could be dangerous. I'll scout it out first.
Ah, no fair.
Come on, Chico. This isn't as cut and dry as you think. You can come next time, depending on what I find. I'll take some photos if I get the chance. Sorry, kid, but that's life.
Meow. Meow, meow.
Apparently, there are other cats that talk besides Trenya on Isla del Monstruo.
There's more of them?
Yep, they're called the felines. But supposedly they don't ever come to Costa Rica. You should try talking to them if you spot them. Who knows what kind of stuff they have to say?
Yeah, just when you think things can't get any crazier.
Also, the felines are nice to humans. So you be sure and be nice back. Don't you go attacking them or anything.
I would never hurt a defenseless little kitty.
Monstre en espagnol, oui. Et en feline, Isla del Monstruo, ça se traduit en miaou, miaou, miaou.
I used to have this book full of pirate lore. It had the story about Rathalos, king of the skies. Most accounts describe it as a dragon with wings, or a wyvern.
A wyvern? A two-legged dragon? Vlad the Impaler's coat of arms had one on it.
Yeah, and he was a model for Count Dracula. There are reports of ships being attacked out in the middle of the ocean. So Rathalos must be able to fly great distances. And what's more, Rathalos is said to breathe fire.
J'adore comme il le prononce.
Breathe fire?
Rathalos.
An animal like that can't possibly be real.
We're talking about a monster, Snake. Forget what you think you know.
Ok. Est-ce que j'ai de la place pour l'appareil photo? Non, c'est un... Je vais virer les nachos, ils servent vraiment à rien. On va prendre l'appareil photo. Par contre... L'appareil photo, il va aller... à la fin. Voilà. C'est parti. C'est pas du tout dit que je m'en sorte, hein. Il y a de fortes chances que je meure dans d'atroces souffrances.
About time. Let's go, Trenya.
Let's go, Trenya. Un peu déçu qu'on puisse pas le mettre dans l'équipe Trenya. Keltika qui dit oui, il est super dur alors qu'elle a enchaîné les 3 quêtes de monstres sans s'arrêter. J'avais droit au live tweet. Oh putain, c'est vrai, il y a eux. Je les déteste. Rathalos, King of the Skies. Alors on va prendre une photo tout de suite. C'est une mauvaise blagounette. J'arrive pas du tout à se combattre un dragon dans un jeu MGS. Tout est possible. C'est vraiment le jeu le plus débile de la franchise, hein, faut pas l'oublier. Oh putain, c'est passé entre ses jambes.
That's a barbecue spit. You can use it to roast food, even rations, simply by pressing the action button.
J'ai coupé une ration pour ça. Oh là là, oh là là. Je suis en train de me faire allumer. Merde, j'ai appuyé. Surtout que je change pas de métier. Oh non, j'ai une ration mal cuite.
Hey, that looks delicious. Hey, that looks delicious.
Bon. J'aurais peut-être pu prendre le lance-missile téléguidé. Oh l'enfoiré. Une île avec des dinosaures dessus, ça me rappelle un truc, une île près du Costa Rica en plus. Même géographiquement, c'est au même endroit. Voilà, je me fais fumer ma gueule. C'est un enfer. Laisse-moi tranquille. Laisse-moi tranquille. Putain. Eh gros, ça y est. Je me fais victimiser. Mon big boss a connu Stan Nublar. En plus de Godzilla. Hein. Oh l'enfoiré. Ouais, je vais clairement la perdre, hein, cette mission. Vu que j'ai mis super longtemps dans ma partie perso à l'époque pour les battre, lui et ses copains. C'est pas le seul. Et ouais, je suis vraiment pas sûr d'y arriver aujourd'hui. C'est surtout pour vous montrer. Mais putain! Je sais pas si tu l'as déjà, mais le MG3 comme arme, c'est extrêmement efficace. C'est quoi comme arme? C'est une mitrailleuse aussi ou c'est un lance-missile? Je sais plus si je l'ai honnêtement. Quel enfer. Mitrailleuse. Je crois que je l'ai pas. Je l'ai pas encore, cette partie-là. Non mais putain! Allez, c'est loose.
Snake? What's going on? We still gotta look for Joy Maze together. Snake!
Non, non. Et encore le T-Rex après est pire, oui. Et le troisième, il est encore pire. Donc voilà, je vais vous spoiler ce qu'il y a après parce que je vais pas les faire. Donc il y a le Ratalos. Après il y a le Tigrex qui est un autre dragon. Et après il y a un monstre original qui est le Gear-Rex. Le Gear-Rex, eh ben c'est tout simplement le monstre qui aurait inspiré Metal Gear Rex. Et donc il a le même design que Rex dans MGS1. Et je trouve ça très amusant. Voilà. Tout simplement.
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission and proceed.
On va faire des choses plus simples.
Stealth.
Du coup, cette tenue, elle te dit quelque chose maintenant, Keltika? La tenue furtive de Peace Walker? Elle te parle? Je crois que tu l'as vu dans un autre contexte.
Your current objective is to retrieve the prisoners.
Je m'en suis rendu compte là en relançant le jeu, je me suis dit mais je la connais cette tenue en fait. Non. Oui. Lui on va le prendre.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed on board helicopter.
I'm seeing things.
is it?
Let's go dans le... dans l'anus.
Get up.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
Ah. Toujours sympa, un nouveau camouflage.
Can't be imagining things.
Si, tu peux. T'es tout seul. Bah alors il a son copain juste à côté.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Huh? We're under attack. Going to alert.
What's wrong? We have a situation. Backup team, head over and investigate. Watch it. There might be bombs planted next to those prisoners.
Yep.
You did it. Keep it up.
Salut les gars!
Snake, we've got a problem. Zadornov's not in his cell.
What?
He must have used his prosthetic as a blowtorch to cut through the bars.
Oh l'enfoiré.
But we've managed to narrow down his location using a transmitter we planted on him. I'm adding a new mission. Find the KGB agent Zadornov.
Ok. Vous pouviez mettre des gardes, non? Je sais pas. Je propose, hein. J'aurais pu croire qu'à force que Snake s'évade de prison, eux ils soient doués pour garder leurs prisonniers. Ça fait C'est réel.
Snake, Zadornov has escaped custody. Find him.
Ah ah, chapitre 5.
Find Zadornov and bring him back here with Fulton recovery.
Wait. Somebody there?
Non. Tu rêves, mec. Ok, je parie sur le Rio del Jade. Rio. Rio. R. Le R hispanophone, c'est vraiment un L suivi d'un J. C'est très bizarre. Ok, toi, je te veux pas dans mon équipe. Toi, je sais pas encore. Bon, ouais, allez.
I'm seeing things.
Dire que oui.
I'm seeing things.
Oh non.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
En vrai, je ferais mieux de les prendre. Vu que je suis un peu short en personnel.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete. Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Y'a rien. Ok, donc il change de place. Dans ma partie perso, il était dans cette maison. Il change de place, le bâtard. C'est aléatoire.
Can't be imagining things.
Oh. Une maison que t'as pas fouillée. Ah. Je vais retourner voir. Ah non, mais oui, t'as raison. Mais oui. Pardon, c'est vrai. Je me souviens. Vous avez entendu? Mais Parce que cette maison-là, elle est fermée, hein. Celle-là, elle est fermée. Ouais, il n'est pas dans cette map. Il bouge vraiment. Vous avez rien vu. Fini de jouer à cache-cache. Dis-moi qui tu es. Tu m'as trouvé. C'est moi le loup. Oh, baguette. Omelette, du fromage.
Can't be imagining things.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Il m'en reste que 2 des Fulton, donc je vais être un peu plus picky. Sachant qu'il faut que j'en garde un.
Gunfire! Guess not.
Il y a moyen que ce soit toujours la dernière map que tu visites. Ah, il y a un prisonnier là-bas. Fini de jouer à cache-cache. Dis-moi qui tu es. Merde. C'est pas ça. Voilà, je voulais faire ça.
Start talking.
Je sais pas si t'as assez de montre. Hein. Non, allez, je suis sympa.
search every inch of that area.
Start talking.
Down.
C'est donc pour ça qu'il y avait un crédit pour le modèle 3D de Z9 dans le générique.
Mission complete. The folks back at Mother Base will be thrilled. So, you found me.
It wasn't hard. What are you up to anyway?
Just going for a stroll.
Kaz, I've got Zadornov, returning home.
Acknowledge, Snake. Package for you, boss.
What?
Yeah, looks like a cassette tape. Don't worry, it's clean. No trace of explosives or anything. Return address just says Eva.
Eva?
Someone you know?
An old acquaintance.
Oh, the plot thickens. Tidings from an old flame?
Don't start, Kaz. Anyway, I'll check it out later.
Okay, just don't go running off after this chick. We can't afford for you to be distracted right now.
Oh putain, ça y est, elle est guérie. Enfin. Jaloux, Kaz. Oh, j'ai l'impression. Si tu veux mon avis. Alors. Eh ben, rien.
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission and proceed to the Fulton recovery point, so we can get you back alive and well.
Bravo les gens
Good
préparés.
luck out there.
Oui. Alors, la cassette d'Iva. Oula! Oula! Elle a des trucs à dire!
Hello, Snake. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Ah ouais, ça peut pas dire.
I hear you've been causing quite the ruckus in Nicaragua. Nothing much to report from my end. The legacy's being put to good use. Or so they tell me. But enough with the small talk. There's something I need to tell you. You saw the photo that came with this tape, right? The boss gave that to me. 10 years ago. I'm sorry, I should have told you sooner. I probably should have told you right away. But sending it to you hasn't been an easy decision to make. It's taken me 10 years. Once you've heard what I have to say, you'll understand why. That photo belonged to her. I know what you're thinking. What does she have to do with this? You've probably seen it 100 times in the press already. Obviously, it's of the Mercury 7, the first group of American astronauts, the heroes of Project Mercury. But there were actually 8 people in that photo. One of them was edited out, erased, without a trace.
Je me demande qui.
That 8th astronaut, the one airbrushed out of existence, that was her, Snake. Now, why did they need to keep her existence a secret? What were they trying to hide? The answer goes back even further. 17 years ago. It was the height of the Cold War. The Eastern and Western blocs were racing to develop space technology to match their nuclear arsenals. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite. The Americans were stunned. They'd been led to believe their country led the world in science and technology. That shock quickly turned into fear. If the Russians had the know-how to launch a satellite into space, they could use it to launch a nuclear missile, too. Frantic, the U.S. threw everything it had into the space race. The following year, the Army succeeded in launching the first American satellite, Explorer 1. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration was established that fall, and Project Mercury with it. The goal was to send a man into space, and 7 men were chosen as pilot candidates. The media dubbed them the Mercury 7. They were immediately hailed as national heroes, icons of Western space exploration. But after Explorer, America suffered a series of failed rocket launches. Desperate, the government made a fateful decision. Unable to wait for its space program to mature, they'd steal the Soviets' technology, at the same time sabotaging their space program. You know better than anyone how hard a mission that was. The Soviet space program was shrouded in secrecy. Recovering that information would be no easy task. Using the help of an insider, they'd insert a sleeper agent into the research institute, or else recruit one of those insiders to do the job for them. And, if necessary, the mission leader would have to go in and sort things out themselves. Someone was needed with experience, knowledge, and superior intuition. And the only one for the job was the boss. The president himself asked for her by name. He needed someone who could be trusted with the fate of a nation. Who else to turn to but the hero of the Second World War? It was June 1959. So you see, Snake, that's why she left. That was the top secret mission that took her from you. But her selection ruffled a few CIA feathers. They didn't appreciate the president going over their head like that. The mission was tough enough already, and now the CIA was dragging its feet. She couldn't get anything out of them. No manpower, no information. Left to her own devices, the boss made a decision she knew would come back to haunt her. She decided to tap into the Philosopher's Network. And that's when the wheels of fate began to turn.
La suite bientôt. Ouais, on va peut-être pas finir aujourd'hui.
Can't be imagining things. Who are you?
Ouh, ah putain. Non, c'est vrai.
Negative. We can't spare reinforcements. We'll have to make do with what you have.
The prisoner's been moved to another location. We can't rescue him now. Come on back.
J'avais voulu écouter toutes les cassettes de ce menu, Eva Prince Strange Love. Ça a pris plus d'1 heure. Ouais. Dans mon souvenir, il y avait beaucoup d'infos. Headshot. Incroyable à mes yeux. Ils n'ont tout simplement aucune chance. Ouais, ça révèle plein de trucs sur The Boss, ouais, c'est bien ce que je pensais. Si je m'en bats les couilles des pénalités, je les prends tous. C'est clairement lui, il a une banane.
Bolton recovery helicopter is complete. Head for the recovery zone. We'll pick you up there.
Elle est où? Ah, y a plus de pénalité. Putain, c'est horrible. Oh, y a un... Je dirais qu'il y avait un gars que j'avais pas encore vu.
Mission complete. Great job.
On va l'écouter par petits bouts, le message d'Iva. Let's go le rang S. Let's go. Non, tant pis.
Here's a rundown of your mission. This one's perfect for...
Oui, tais-toi. C'est mignon, mais tu te tais. Allez, deuxième message.
The philosophers were a secret society of power brokers formed in a pact between the US, Russia, and China in the early 20th century. Of course, by that time, the American and Soviet branches had already parted ways. But there were those among the remaining Russian philosophers not entirely happy with the one-party communist state. The boss reached out to them, She arranged clandestine meetings in Berlin, hoping to find a way into OKB-1, the Soviets' premier design bureau. She worked tirelessly to win their sympathy, in some instances using huge sums of cash, in others, by helping them over the Berlin Wall. It was a dangerous game to be playing. The philosophers had everything on her, and not just information either. She'd given birth to a child on the battlefield, only to have them immediately snatch it away. I know she told you that story. If that child was in the hands of the Soviet philosophers, she'd be putting more than just herself in danger. But she did what she had to do. At the time, the Soviet Union was believed to have an arsenal of missiles far greater than that of the United States. If that proved to be the case, Moscow would be free from the yoke of nuclear deterrence, raising the possibility that the Soviets might actually launch nukes if they felt it necessary. As you know, the so-called missile gap turned out to be a Soviet bluff. Moscow had gone to incredible lengths to perpetuate the lie. In fact, the whole space race was really just a part of an elaborate ruse. Only we didn't know that at the time. She used to joke that even she swallowed the whole missile gap story, hook, line, and sinker. She put her life on the line, for the sake of her country, to prevent nuclear war. And it was because of her sacrificial efforts that America succeeded in placing a sleeper agent inside OKB-1. NASA began to receive huge volumes of technical data from the Soviet program. By the end of 1959, they'd succeeded in sending a chimpanzee named Sam on a ballistic rocket flight. The rocket never left the atmosphere. But all the same, it was a huge success for NASA, restoring confidence in its technology. Then, just when the operation was starting to produce results, the CIA came calling. "You're a war hero," they said. "No need for you to dirty your hands with this sort of black ops. We'll take it from here." In effect, they wanted to reap the rewards for themselves. But the boss didn't object. "My part is over," she said. "I don't care what you do with the data now." It seemed as if NASA was making great strides toward manned spaceflight, while the Russians lagged behind. They even got a report from their mole at OKB-1. "The safe return of Sam has sent our scientists into a panic," he said. Soon afterward, the Soviet Union sent an animal of its own into space on Sputnik 2, the dog Kudryavka, better known to the world as Laika. But Laika was fated never to return to Earth. The U.S. can recover its spacecraft from the ocean upon re-entry. But the Soviet Union only borders the frozen Arctic. They had to bring their spacecraft down on land. How could they soften the impact enough to bring a living creature back safely? The agent reported that the Soviets hadn't yet found a solution to that problem. The plot to sabotage the Soviet space program seemed to be working, too. First, they tampered with Sputnik 4's re-entry. Then, 2 months later, one of their rockets exploded on the launch pad. They did manage to send 2 dogs into orbit aboard Sputnik 5 and return them safely to Earth. But the agent dismissed it as a fluke. Dogs, sure, but humans? They didn't have the technology. Everybody believed it. Everybody was complacent. Everybody. Except the boss. There was something about the Sputnik 5 schematics they were getting that didn't seem right. Some kind of ejection device on the capsule that didn't quite belong. She couldn't figure out the reason why it was there. What was it supposed to eject? NASA shrugged off her concerns. They figured it was probably meant to eject the flight recorder in case of an accident. The boss pleaded with them to investigate, but the CIA wasn't having it. They probably thought she was trying to reclaim some of the glory for herself. The boss wouldn't give up. She decided to head to the Soviet Union herself, alone, without any backing from the CIA. By the beginning of the next year, 1961. She'd succeeded in infiltrating OKB-1. That's when she saw the truth. For the first time.
La vérité, quelle était-elle? Oula, oula.
You need to use Fulton recovery on all the soldiers. Be careful not to kill anybody.
Je sais pas si je vais y arriver. C'est vraiment un truc que je fais jamais, ça.
Who's that?
La vérité, je crois, c'est Snake qui a tué il a tué The Boss, mais en vrai, pas sûr. Ce serait fou. Si c'est vrai, c'est très grave.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
Wesh.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed on board helicopter. Fulton recovery helicopter is complete. Mission complete. Great job.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Ah! Grand S. Ça me fait rire parce que du coup là je vais commencer à débloquer des objets de base. Radar Solitone, il avait un peu d'avance. Il a été développé en 1998 normalement. Alors le curry délicieux. Bon, non, pas le curry délicieux. Vous avez 24 ans d'avance sur le radar Solitone. Et en vrai, ce radar Solitone est même plus performant que l'original.
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission.
Oui, tais-toi. Ton équipe est beaucoup trop forte. En même temps, ils ont inventé un Walkman aussi. Oui, non mais... J'en ai fait d'autres. Alors, quelle est la vérité qu'elle a découvert à OKB-1?
The sleeper that she'd worked so hard to place was a double agent. He'd been turned by the Soviets and was feeding the Americans lies. But what shocked the boss even more was why. The CIA's access agent had been taking a large cut of the sleeper's pay. The sleeper felt what little he was left with wasn't worth the risk. When he got a better offer from Moscow, he took it. At some point, the Americans' intelligence operation had become an open book to the Soviets. And contrary to what the sleeper had been reporting, the Soviets' manned spaceflight technology was quite advanced. It wasn't until she infiltrated OKB-1 herself that the boss learned the truth about Sputnik 5. After the spacecraft re-entered the atmosphere, it ejected the pilot, seat and all, at an altitude of 7,000 meters. It was the Soviet solution to the problem of land recovery. The mystery device attached to Sputnik 5 was for that purpose. The pilot would parachute down from that high altitude wearing a bulky spacesuit. Crazy, I know. The Soviets knew exactly how dangerous it was, of course. So much so that they gave Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space, a special 2-rank promotion before re-entry. Only Moscow could come up with this kind of plan. With total state control over information, they could easily pretend it never happened in the event of a failure. The boss passed the info on to NASA. It was their worst nightmare. The glory of mankind's first spaceflight was about to be stolen from them by the Soviet Union. It was Sputnik all over again. And the CIA was caught no less off guard. Their ineptitude had caused the fiasco in the first place. The Soviets' deception was brilliant. They'd woven a masterful tapestry of truth and fiction to convince the Americans their intelligence operations were proceeding as planned. No one but the boss could have seen through it. It was obvious the Soviets had some gifted minds working on their side. But that certainly didn't excuse the CIA's massive failure. The CIA wasn't done, though, and devised an ingenious plan to avoid taking responsibility. Luckily for them, a new president had been elected the previous November, John F. Kennedy. As he didn't know the case history when taking office, the CIA was able to feed lies to his new administration. They masked their own failures, placing the blame squarely on the boss's shoulders. After all, she'd selected an unreliable sleeper. They claimed she'd failed to make use of one of the most effective means of controlling a sleeper agent's actions: holding their family hostage. The boss was well aware that would have worked. She told me so later, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. It seems clear it had to do with having her own child taken. She could never inflict the same pain on anyone else. The CIA used that against her. In his election campaign, Kennedy had vowed to close the missile gap with Moscow. If America lost the space race, that promise would be worthless. The fact that the president had no links to the philosophers only made things worse. He was completely unaware of the secret networks she'd used to complete her mission. In his eyes, she was no better than a traitor. The fate that awaited her was cruel beyond belief.
Eh ben... Fun. Tu aurais pas par hasard oublié comment faire des body checks? Non, je sais faire un body check. Pour faire un body check...
Your current objective is to retrieve the researchers. Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
Oh merde, il y a rien derrière moi.
Pick you up there.
Je l'avais pas vu, lui.
Mission complete.
Ça va être rang A, du coup, hein. Pas rang S. Honteux, ouais. On est bien d'accord. C'est un scandale. C'est un putain de scandale.
Bad news, Snake. Zadornov's on the loose.
Mais non!
What? Again?
It's funny. We took away his prosthetic and did a full body check. We even increased the guard.
You think he had help?
Impossible. Anyway, I'm adding a new mission. Locate and recover Zadornov.
Ils ont fait un body check! Pas leur faute, ils ont fait un body check. Ah, Warthog, comme les 4x4 dans Halo. Eh ben on va chercher Zadornov. Vous voulez que je vous dise?
Snake, Zadornov's disappeared from his cell again. Find
Vous
him.
savez comment faire, bravo. Je pense que Miller leur a expliqué. C'est sa spécialité, les body checks. Il en fait tous les soirs à Snake.
The order came down from above. The boss would take the official blame for the sleeper's betrayal. More so, she'd serve as the guinea pig for NASA's manned spaceflight program. By then, NASA had gotten as far as sending a chimp named Ham into space. Now came a whole battery of ground tests to pave the way for a human to take its place. High G tests, zero G tests, spacesuit tests, simulations in pressurized oxygen environments. Some of the tests were highly dangerous, too dangerous for the Mercury 7, who were by then already media darlings. So the boss was made to stand in for them. She could have refused the order, argued her side of the story against the CIA, but she didn't. The way she saw it, her military experience made her a potentially valuable asset to those tests. She felt it was her duty to accept. She soon proved herself right. The boss was more than just a guinea pig. She drew on her experience to give the staff focused advice exactly where it was needed. NASA's space program took off again. At the rate they were going, putting a man in space seemed within reach. The higher-ups at NASA were impressed with her talents. They took to calling her the 8th astronaut, the Mercury Lady. The photo I sent you was taken around that time. I suppose maybe they were planning to use it as propaganda, the world's first female astronaut. But then, just as things were looking up, they hit a new snag. The government told them to add a window. There were no windows in NASA's spacecraft back then. Ham never saw the stars around him. But Washington insisted. Their sources told them Soviet spaceships had windows. Space exploration as a form of propaganda in itself. After all, what was the point of sending a man into space if he couldn't tell the world what he'd seen? Most of all, though, they simply couldn't have the Russians doing something they couldn't. It was sheer madness, and everybody knew it. NASA was already facing impossible deadlines. Now they were adding yet another element of uncertainty to the mix. Installing a window would both weaken the spacecraft and make it harder to shield the occupant from cosmic rays. They weren't about to put their Mercury 7 golden boys in that kind of danger. So the boss was chosen as the pilot instead. Even if she made it up into space, she was given less than a 20% chance of returning to Earth alive. But she took it in stride, even helping them make the necessary design changes to the Mercury capsule. It was like going to work every day at NASA to make her own coffin. Then, without warning, the US received intelligence that the Soviets had moved their Vostok spacecraft to the launch site. The launch was set for the following day, April 12th, 1961.
Ah. Ah. Merde.
Snake.
Vladimir Zadornov.
Find Zadornov and bring him back here with Fulton Recovery.
Ouais, la zone est petite. Il y a 2 zones.
Fulton Recovery helicopter is complete.
Putain, je l'avais pas vu, lui.
I'm seeing things.
Dormez maintenant.
Fulton Recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Enemies close by.
Non, t'as rêvé. Oh putain, j'avais pas vu lui non plus. Ah, on y voit vraiment rien dans cette forêt-là.
Fulton Recovery helicopter is complete.
Dors. Tu m'auras pas, c'est pas la même note. C'est pas la même note dans Peace Walker. Elle est plus aiguë dans Peace Walker. Haha. Il y a un truc que j'ai réussi à faire une seule fois dans toute ma vie, mais traditionnellement dans les Metal Gear, au moment où vous êtes repéré, si vous tirez sur le point d'exclamation, le gars se fait one shot et est assommé instantanément. Je sais même pas si c'est encore valable, mais il y a moyen que jusque dans MGS5 ce soit possible. C'est juste dur à faire. Moi j'ai jamais réussi. Non, t'as rien vu. Il s'est endormi avant de toucher le sol.
Fulton Recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
What the? We're being shot at. Going to alert staff.
Non.
What's wrong? We have a situation. Backup team. Head over and investigate.
Oh putain, ils arrivent juste là. En vrai, il est bien caché. Hein. C'est un petit blagueur. Zadornov!
Fulton Recovery. Try using Fulton Recovery on him. Head for the recovery zone. We'll pick you up there. Mission complete. Great job.
Merci. Merci Miller. Bon, qu'il y reste cette fois dans sa geôle. C'est bon. Je suis pas une babysitter non plus, quoi. Attends. C'est bon, quoi.
Kaz, I caught Zadornov.
Impossible. I thought I'd made it. Acknowledged and appreciated.
C'est vrai qu'il était bien caché. Bon.
Let's get this mission started.
On prendrait bien une autre petite histoire sur la mise au boss. Il nous en reste 3.
America couldn't let the Soviets beat them with Vostok. NASA was forced to cut short the testing process and move the launch date up. They pulled out all the stops to get it scheduled for the earliest hours of the next day. The spacecraft would be launched from Cape Canaveral in the dead of night. For the flight path, they chose a course that would take her as far east as possible. She'd be able to see the Earth in daylight from the window, at least for a little while. The boss climbed into the Mercury capsule, having completed less than 80% of the regular flight procedures. Both the timing and the flight path were risky, and testing was far from complete. But NASA had no other choice. The boss, for her part, never expected to come home alive. She was going on a one-way trip, the American version of Laika the dog. And yet she went all the same. Someone has to be first, she said. If fate has chosen me, then I accept, for my country, for the balance of the world. That's how she saw things. My chances may be slim, but I'll take them. I've accepted my fate. If anyone can get through this, I can. Then, on April 12th at 1:30 in the morning, the boss entered space. It was nothing short of a miracle. First, that she'd made it in an incomplete spacecraft. And second, that her flight coincided almost exactly with Gagarin's. As the sun rose over the horizon, and cosmic rays began to bombard her through the window, she saw the Earth. I think you've heard the story before. It was a world without borders, a perfect jewel. All nations, all ideologies. They seemed so far away. It almost made her laugh, knowing that they'd risked so much to beat the Soviets by a few short minutes. If she'd seen Vostok from her window, she probably would have waved. But the two spacecraft were destined for very different fates. Gagarin circled the Earth and returned to the Soviet Union, safe and sound. The Mercury capsule, on the other hand, deviated from its planned re-entry angle. The addition of a window had thrown the capsule's aerodynamics off balance. The boss's coffin veered wildly off course and began to plunge earthward.
J'espère qu'elle est pas morte dans le vol. J'en ai bien peur, malheureusement. Elle a l'air mal barrée pour la dame.
Your current objective is to retrieve the researchers.
Enemy assault!
Ça m'énerve de pas pouvoir tirer à travers les grillages.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete. Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Let's go le rang S. Au moins le rang S. Elle enchaîne les rangs S. Elle enchaîne les masterclass même. Vous êtes nuls. Messieurs, vous êtes incompétents. Vous êtes ce que les Français appellent des incompétents. Les incompétents.
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission.
The course deviation caused the capsule to miss its splashdown point by a wide margin. It didn't have enough time to decelerate before crashing into the sea. The force of the impact shattered the spacecraft before it started to sink like a stone. The boss used the last of her strength to escape to the surface. Her body was covered in bruises and scorched by radiation. It was a miracle she was still alive. She slipped into a coma and didn't regain consciousness for 6 months. To some, what was worst of all was that she had lost the space race to Gagarin by only a few minutes. That aside, it should have been a proud day for America. Its first manned spaceflight. Sadly, her accomplishment was kept out of the history books. An attempt to save face by Washington. In contrast to Gagarin's orbital flight, America had only managed a ballistic trajectory. Her flight time was much shorter, too. And most importantly, the Soviets had brought back both spacecraft and pilot safely. NASA couldn't even conjure up a half-hearted tale of heroic survival. The coup de grace, though, was the Soviet propaganda campaign that kicked into gear after the flight. The Earth was blue. Those were the words of Gagarin on his return, and the whole world was listening. In the blink of an eye, Gagarin was an international celebrity, earning accolades from every corner. It was a PR coup for the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Washington could only grit its teeth in silence. They decided there was no value in making the boss's flight public, that it would only make matters worse. So they buried it instead, labeling it a dark mission. NASA and the CIA did everything in their power to erase all traces of the boss from Project Mercury. The result was the photo you see before you. Not a bad job, huh? Not only did they expunge her flight from the records, they denied that she ever existed. And that wasn't the end of it. As an alibi, the military claimed she'd taken part in the CIA's botched Bay of Pigs plot to take back Cuba. And when the boss was finally well enough to return to service, they wouldn't take her back. She was forced to go underground. In the public eye, the boss was still a hero of World War II. In reality, though, she was anything but that. She was a non-person, fit only for the blackest of black ops. In effect, she may as well have been dead. Gagarin went on a worldwide tour in front of millions of adoring fans. The boss, meanwhile, was a walking secret, unable to breathe a word about her experience. The authorities in Washington had this to say: "Why are you still here? If only you'd had the decency to give us a nice quote like Gagarin and then die an honorable death, you'd have gone down as a hero." 3 weeks later, on May 5th, Alan Shepard, one of the Mercury 7, made his own ballistic flight. They sure didn't try to cover up his achievement. Of course, he owed his success to the lessons learned from the boss's tragedy. Before sending Gagarin up into space, the Soviets had used a mannequin called Ivan Ivanovich to test the landing procedure, which would make the boss America's version of a crash test dummy. But she didn't care. "I'm happy to be the dummy," she said, "if it'll help the project succeed. Nothing would give me greater satisfaction." And that still wasn't the end of it. The boss had worked through the anti-Moscow faction of the Soviet Union's philosophers to place the sleeper agent, and at some point, the Soviets found out about it. Yet the Americans remained oblivious to the end. Even the philosopher network the boss plugged into never tipped them off to the double cross. That could only mean one of two things. Either the pro-Moscow philosophers had intervened, or the anti-Moscow philosophers had been turned. Either way, it was a situation their American counterparts couldn't stand. To preserve the philosopher's good name, and to repay her debt, so to speak, the boss once again made her way into the Soviet Union. There, she found herself face to face with the Soviets' own agent.
Oh, la suite dans la 7ème cassette.
Destroy all enemy supplies with your C4. Fulton recovery subject confirmed on board helicopter. Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
I'm seeing things. What was that?
Caméra en moon boots. Non mais maintenant.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed on board helicopter. Yes. Now get over to the goal.
Tir en S. Allez, petit rang S.
Mission complete. The folks back at Mother Base will be thrilled.
Bon. Trop long, manifestement. Dommage, quoi. Dégage.
You're fired.
Je suis horrible. J'ai ri devant ses compétences. C'est honteux. Moi, je vous le dis.
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission and proceed to the Fulton recovery point so we can get you back alive and well. Good luck out there. Let's...
Après, c'est sa faute, il faut penser à faire une reconversion professionnelle à ce stade. Ah, eh oui. Ouais, je sais comment on fait. Ok, c'est l'heure de la dernière cassette déjà.
And who should she find awaiting her return to Russia? The one who'd turned her sleeper against her. Who'd fed them lies all this time. It was her former comrade in arms.
OMG, ce Sorrow!
Child. The man known as the Sorrow. He didn't know it was the boss who'd sent the sleeper. Or to be more precise, the Soviet philosophers never told him. Former lovers. Forced to fight. To the death. One would live and one would die, she told me. That was the revenge the Soviet philosophers had in store for me. If both of them survived, their child would suffer in their place. They were left with no other option. The boss shot him. He offered no resistance. When she returned from the Soviet Union, there was no place left for her to go. She'd sacrificed everything. Everything. For her country. And in return, they treated her like a dead woman. She was made a scapegoat for no good reason. Only because power had changed hands in Washington. Any lesser being would have long since cracked. It was then that one of her old SAS comrades reached out to her. Major Zero. And so Fox was born. She undertook a mission that, well, you should know better than anybody. You are a part of it. 20 days after Shepard's flight, President Kennedy announced that America would put a man on the moon. Without the intelligence the boss obtained, America's space program would never have caught up. Armstrong and Aldrin might never have walked on the moon. But the Americans' gain had cost the boss her health, her honor, and the man she loved. The word tragedy doesn't even begin to describe what she endured. The Soviets continued their manned space flights, and in 1963, Valentina Tereshkova became the so-called first woman in space. It said they took their cue from NASA's long-buried Mercury Lady project. And so that, Snake, is the mission that kept her away from you for so long. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why not use me as her agent? She knew I'd never even think of betraying her. I think it's because she didn't want to drag you into it. She probably knew what was going to happen. To complete the mission, she'd have to turn to the philosophers, and once she did that, whatever came of it, there'd be a price to pay. No one understood that better than her. So please, Snake, let it go. When she gave me the photo, she left me to decide whether or not to pass it along to you. I know she was torn about it, just as I was. She knew you'd probably blame yourself. Why did she hold on to it for so long? That, I can't say. To remind her of how much it hurt to be erased. She wasn't that kind of person. No. I think she meant it to be a message to you. She had her identity, her life, taken away. But she wanted you, of all people, to know the truth. Snake, you've probably already figured this out, but it's no accident that I'm only now sending you something I've withheld for so long. A little bird tells me you recently made a big decision. You and the boss are different people. I understand that. And I'm not trying to second guess you. I simply wanted you to know what she saw, how she felt. That's all. Keep it with you, Snake. Keep it deep inside. Don't ever forget the path she took. Because you and I are the only people on this earth who know the truth.
Boss, I'm sorry, but I can't.
Eh ben. C'est terrible tout ça. Et du coup, ça explique comment The Boss elle a connu Strangelove. Comme elle a bossé à la NASA. Et j'imagine qu'elles ont bossé là-bas en même temps.
Get control of all the enemies by holding them up. Hold up all enemies. If you're discovered, the mission's over.
Freeze.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Oui, d'ailleurs, le journal de Strangelove, c'est ça. Et son point de vue à elle. Ah. J'ai pas écouté ces trucs depuis très longtemps. Ça fait 10 ans que je les ai pas écoutés, je pense.
Freeze.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
Freeze.
J'ai eu chaud derrière. Et on apprend que le fameux truc qui arrive à l'IA de The Boss à la fin, quand elle repense l'IA endommagée grâce à ses fonctions basiques. Ça lui était arrivé de son vivant. Ah!
Is somebody there?
Non! Merde. C'est l'échec.
We're under attack!
The mission's a failure. Return to base.
Ça explique donc pourquoi Strangelove était aussi émerveillé quand c'est arrivé.
Get control of all the enemies by holding them up.
Freeze.
Hold up all enemies. If you're discovered, the mission's over.
Ah, d'ailleurs, il y a accès à la plage là. Est-ce qu'il y a quelque chose à la plage? Est-ce qu'il y a Trenia?
Hey, are you and me? Look.
Oui!
You see some sort of weird animal over by the pier?
Mais du coup, ça sert à rien.
A talking cat.
D'accord, on peut refaire la scène. Dans une autre mission. Bon. C'est cool, mais c'est pas ce que je voulais. Big Boss a la mémoire courte. Écoute, il en a pris plein la gueule. Tu peux activer sur n'importe quelle mission avec une plage. Putain, c'est vrai. Je me rappelle maintenant. Et encore, on n'est pas arrivé à l'époque Big Boss a des lésions cérébrales, hein, ce qui va arriver aussi. Putain, et du coup, elle est considérée comme validée cette mission. Je vais quand même la refaire correctement.
Get control of all the enemies by holding them up. Hold up all enemies. If you're discovered, the mission's over. Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
Ah, le SVD, je le veux. C'est bien.
Freeze. Freeze.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Freeze. Freeze.
Freeze.
Ah
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Freeze.
Okay, you're done with that area. Head for the goal. Mission complete. Great job.
Merci. Freaks. Start talking. Ah, j'ai pas vu si j'avais gagné de la compétence banane. Du coup, j'ai le magazine L'art de cultiver les bananes. Let's go.
You're fired.
Ok, l'analyseur s'est relancé. Ok, il faudra que je manque l'équipe à relais. En attendant, je vais développer la banane, ça coûte rien. Et le SVD. Ok. Alors... J'utilise le Piopa type 2. Vas-y, tu sais quoi, j'y vais.
This is a high-risk mission.
Ils découvrent la banane. Ils inventent la banane.
The pupa.
Oui, non mais c'est bon, on l'a déjà combattu, on connaît Yui. C'est le même, hein.
Combat.
Il a juste plus de points de vie. Et il tape plus fort. Ah oui. La MG3, non, je l'ai pas encore. T'imagines, sans Snake, on n'aurait jamais eu de banane. Il n'y avait pas de banane avant 1974. Ça n'existait juste pas. La MG3, ça se débloque dans la mission 31, j'ai vu. J'irai voir. Ça me fait toujours rire. Comment ça, amphibie? C'est pas amphibie, ce truc.
Neutralize the pupa AI weapon.
Hop là, t'as rien pu faire. Peut-être que si, mais on la voit jamais près de l'eau. Bah déjà les chenilles, c'est pas vraiment amphibie. Et l'arrière est sur un coussin d'air. Donc dans le meilleur des cas, ça le maintient au-dessus de l'eau peut-être. Mais amphibie, ça implique que ça va sous l'eau. Ce truc flotte, c'est sûr. Mais rien que l'IA, elle est creuse.
They've okayed your request for a cardboard box. It'll be sent out shortly. You're asking for the impossible.
C'était pas une bonne idée de la déclencher tout de suite.
Try again later.
Je prends juste les munitions de l'eau. Ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta. Tchoum. Bon là j'essaie de récupérer des pièces donc je vais essayer de frapper que l'IA. En tout cas il faut que je maintienne ce qui fait office de jambe. C'est ça qu'il me faut en priorité. Je peux faire des notes aussi aiguës. Non, c'est pas une bonne idée si je veux garder des pièces. Oh, il est très lent. J'en bats les couilles, il y en a pas près de moi. Hé hé hé, je t'ai niqué. En vrai, la PKM, c'est bien aussi. Oh l'enfoiré. Merde. Et les chargeurs de la PKM sont immenses.
They've okayed the request for supporting fire. It should commence any second now.
Allez. Bientôt la moitié. OMG! Descends! Je te jure, tu vas descendre. Il va balancer ses petits palets. Voilà. Ok, on a fait la moitié. Il y en a aucun ici. Vas-y, active ton machin. J'ai même pas peur. Tu peux pas me faire mal. Oula, oula, oula. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? J'avais complètement lâché et ça continuait. Il est dans la salle de contrôle. Putain. Oh la vache. Forêt. Putain. Tu te moques de moi? C'est une blagounette. Piou pas. Pauvre Yui. Écoute. On s'en remettra. Vas-y, reviens, ose revenir. Ose revenir, saloperie. J'ai pas peur de toi, Pupa. Aussi modifié sois-tu. Allez, active-les tes machins. On n'ose pas les activer ou quoi? Allez. On va le défoncer, je vous dis. Monte sur tes petits ergots là. Et active tes merdes. Il va jamais le faire. Mais wesh! Il est coincé dans une boucle ou quoi? Ah, il vient de battre. C'est trop mignon comme il écarte ses chenilles pour sauter. On dirait un petit chien. Un petit chien qui saute. Mais vraiment, il fait tout le temps pareil. Ah! Snake aussi, il était étonné, il a fait oh! Ah bah voilà! Avec son petit chant, c'est trop mignon, ouais! Je le trouve vraiment mignon! J'aime bien comme ils chantent tous là, les IA. Ça c'est une attaque de bâtard aussi. Oh putain. Ah. Il va pas jusqu'au bout. Il rentre pas dans le tunnel quand il fait ça. Il s'engage pas du tout. Je vais trouver la meilleure planque. Il a envoyé un petit coup de railgun au passage. Enfoiré. C'est impossible à éviter celle-là. Dans MGS5, tu peux un peu customiser tes armes, un peu comme dans MGS4. Et tu peux notamment mettre un silencieux sur une mitrailleuse. Sur une mitrailleuse lourde. C'est très drôle. Ça n'a aucun sens. Pareil, tu peux mettre un scope dessus aussi. Putain, c'est super loin. Tant pis. Tant pis, j'en mettrai un près de moi.
They've okayed the request from the court. They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
J'ai pété. Vas-y, tourne-toi vers moi, vas-y, vas-y, vas-y. Let's go. Tu vas crever. Le gros boule à Big Boss. La grosse boule. La grosse boss à Big Boss. Mon gros bébé. Allez. C'est la dernière limite. C'est le dernier... dernière ligne droite. C'est ça que je cherchais, l'expression. À chaque fois, je... la chenille, elle passe à 3 cm de mon visage. Oh, j'espérais faire sauter l'IA pendant sa course. Allez. Allez. Pong. Attends, c'est pas gagné. Si là j'arrive pas à vite finir cette barre de vie là, il recharge 2 barres de vie. C'est bon. Là c'est GG. Maintenant. Avant. Le fait qu'il répète tout le temps le tuto de ça à chaque fois. Bon, j'espère que j'ai une pièce de jambe quand même. J'ai fini. Laissez-moi sortir, j'ai fini.
No good! That one's broken!
No good. Allez, une pièce de jambe. Allez. Yes. Bien ça.
Snake, I'm proud to announce that preparations for Metal Gear Zeke are complete. We can activate it any time.
Got it. Thanks, Huey.
No need to thank me. At least now I can finally say I helped you with something. You can use it in outer ops, too. Just select Zeke when you're forming your unit. Be sure to take it out for a field test.
Okay.
You can change weapons and check memory boards just like before. Use your observations from a field test to make any adjustments.
A work in progress, huh?
There's something I need to discuss with you, boss.
Get to the point, Kaz.
We recovered the nuclear warhead that was loaded onto Peace Walker from the bottom of Lago Kosibolka.
What?
Warheads are
C'est une super idée, ça.
radioactive, even if they're relatively stable. If we just left it there, it would contaminate the lake, or fall into the hands of terrorists.
Creating another crisis.
Right. So while the White House is figuring out how to cover its ass, I thought we'd take some precautions.
What did you have in mind?
Load it onto Zeke.
What?
What else would we do with it?
Mais wesh.
Zeke is our deterrent. To protect ourselves from nuclear attack, we need a nuclear weapon ourselves. Of course, if you're not on board, we could always dispose of it. But it won't be easy getting another nuke. This is a golden opportunity. We could always get rid of it later. Load it onto some fishing boat and leave it out in the middle of the ocean. No one would ever know it's there. But if you want to get rid of it, boss, we'll get rid of it.
No. Don't. As long as there are nukes out there, we need one ourselves if we're going to be a world power.
I knew you'd see it that way, boss. So as long as we stand apart from nations, we need something to put us on equal footing. In a way, MSF is a country itself. And we just became the world's 7th nuclear power.
Nuclear power.
Vous la sentez, la dérive de merde? La petite glissade, là? On glisse, hein? On glisse, on glisse? Trop de choses. Vulture, vous êtes le maillon faible. Au revoir.
Fired.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Putain, je vais développer le marqueur frappe comme ça. Ça pourrait vraiment servir, pour le coup. Marqueur après ou non. Ouais, le SVD. Voilà. Y'a pas une banane rang 2? On a réussi à améliorer la banane. On l'a rendue plus bananeuse. J'espère que ça te plaira à Boss. Alors. Mission 31, t'as dit. C'est quoi? C'est un... C'est un... Comment? C'est des documents secrets ou c'est... Mais en même temps, ça va être ça. Non, je ne crois pas. Ah. Ok, c'est parti. Let's go.
Wait.
Non, t'as rêvé, mec.
Can't be imagining things.
Dors. S'il te plaît. Merci. Ah oui, c'est l'objet de la mission. Si, maintenant le Fulton, ça drop des objets.
Fulton recovered a helicopter is complete. Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter. Fulton recovered a helicopter is complete.
Il n'y a rien là. Pas besoin de se suspendre et de s'emmerder.
Can't. What's going on?
Ah putain. Je déteste ces missions-là. Tu trouves jamais le dernier objet. Oula, je suis en train de me faire hâte en boucle. Ah. Quelqu'un qui fait une blague que j'ai réclamée.
Okay, you're done with that area. Head for the goal. I knew you could do it. Piece of cake, right?
C'est bon le gâteau.
Snake, Zadornov has disappeared
Sa
from
mère
his
la
cell.
porte.
What? You're kidding, right?
Afraid not. You got a new mission. Find Zadornov.
Zadornov, more like Zadornob. J'espère que c'est la dernière fois. Hein. Il y a intérêt. C'est parti, la MJ3. Alors, on va aller voir notre Metal Gear, on n'est pas allé le voir. Vu qu'il est complet. Et voilà! Alors, par contre... Je vais pas mettre ça en orange. Non, non. Je vais mettre en rouge.
Metal Gear.
Il est moche, hein. Il est énorme, mais il est moche.
Metal Gear.
Snake, Zadornov's disappeared from his cell again. Find him.
D'accord.
Find Zadornov and bring him back here with Fulton Recovery.
La taille de la zone, putain. Foiré. Il manque pas d'air, lui. Hein. Putain, y a plus de son. C'est bien le moment. Ce rythme, il va avoir un record d'évasion de prison supérieur à tous les snakes réunis. Écoutez, on peut finir la mission sans, c'est pas grave. Ils vont juste nous dire oui. Oh là là, j'y serais arrivé cette fois sans cette bande de gamins fouineurs. Enfin, sans ce gamin fouineur, tout seul. Du coup, par contre, je vais pas avoir les indications sonores de Zadornov. Faut imaginer, on entend les grenouilles. Exactement. Exactement. Mouchas grenouillas. Patatas fritas. Cuitas les bananas découpées en dos. Les patatos. Ils sont bien cachés. N'hésite pas à dire pan quand tu tires. Mais j'ai un silencieux. Du coup, ch'ton. Oh là non. Fais nul à chier, toi. Toi, tu vas venir. Toi, est-ce que tu viens? Dans ma partie perso, il était genre là. Il était dans cette zone. Directement. Je crois qu'il était genre par là. Non, peut-être pas. Il était vraiment dans un recoin ici, quoi. Ah. Alors maintenant, imaginez le bruit d'une chute d'eau. Ça fait un vacarme, c'est lourd. Tu sens le poids du truc. Regarde, elle est grosse la chute d'eau. Ah, quel ticket nous dit shit dans le chat. On voit même pas le bas tellement c'est haut. Donc ça fait beaucoup de bruit. Imaginez beaucoup de bruit. Ok. On retourne aux grenouilles. Aux grenouilles et aux oiseaux. Donc... Aline fait super bien la cascade. Gentil. Alors, par contre, je sais pas faire les grenouilles. Hein. Vous m'en voudrez pas. Oh putain. Non mais les rangs C, c'est plus assez bien pour moi. Hein. C'est médiocre. Pardon. Bon. Oh putain, il était là. La merde. D'ailleurs, tu sais toujours comment faire un body check. Je vais te faire une démo. Alors regarde. Hop, body check. Body checked. Par contre, il y a les renforts qui arrivent. Voilà. Il est où? Il est là. Il va vraiment être dans la dernière zone. Eh gros, ça y est. Vous vous souvenez quand on a fait l'aller-retour ici pour une carte d'accès, les souvenirs? Ah! Tu veux dire l'aller-retour aller? Parce qu'il y a eu 3 passages. Trouve ce sale russe et ramène-le ici, wesh! Je veux bien que vous soyez en contexte de guerre froide, mais calme-toi, en fait. Je peux entendre beaucoup de choses, hein, mais bon. Oh, sa mère. Il a une compétence spéciale. Je suis obligé de le prendre. Là, elle pousse un cri. Lui, il était niveau D. C'est la merde, dites-moi, les amis. Mes tout petits amis, là. Il est où, putain? Pendant un instant, j'ai cru que le son était revenu. On a dû le rater! On a dû le rater, hein, j'ai inspecté toutes les zones. Oh putain. Hop, petit body check. Oh putain. Ouais, il est dans la zone de la cascade, c'est plutôt grand, il est facile à rater. Il me semblait avoir tout vu là-bas. De toute façon, on va faire une machine arrière. Ça m'a fait un peu peur. Ça m'a un peu surprise. Ah, c'est ma manette qui a tapé sur mon bureau. Putain! Allez, il est 17h! Je suis censé arrêter! Ça mère la porte. Je savais que c'était pas une bonne idée de commencer une mission Zadornov maintenant. Oui, il passe, c'est bien. Aide-nous à rétablir la paix! Oui? Oh! Pardon. Mais où est-il? Moi aussi, j'en ai marre de ces petites escapades. Ça casse les couilles! Vas-y, c'est toujours pareil! Faisons personne de même! Si vous le voyez, n'hésitez pas à crier dans le chat, hein. Je peux pas avoir des yeux partout. Allez! Ah non, il est pas là, hein. En plus, il a un impair marron, il se voit de ouf. Mais Sam, votre futur est entre mes mains, ouais. On est censé trouver qui? Zadornov, toujours. C'est la 3e fois qu'il s'échappe. Donc il est allongé quelque part dans la jungle, là. Je ne sais pas où. Ah, dans la partie, il était là, quoi. Tu vois, il va être dans la première zone. The End, le retour. Ah, on est pas loin, hein. Sauf qu'il est moins bien camouflé que The End. Non mais c'est pas possible. Est-ce qu'il était derrière le départ? Est-ce qu'il était derrière moi depuis le début? Si je le trouve pas là, je sais pas où il est. On est d'accord, je viens de tout regarder, là. Heureusement que c'est pas timé. T'es où, bâtard? C'est pas possible! C'est n'importe quoi! Non, il n'est pas au départ. Mais wesh. Je crois qu'il ricane quand t'es pas loin de lui. Tu l'entends un peu rigoler. Mais tu peux le trouver sans, normalement. Putain. Va encore faire 3 fois cet aller-retour. C'est quand même fou, cette histoire. Bon, heureusement, ils se réveillent pas, les autres. Bon, déjà, je suis sûr, il est pas à la chute d'eau. C'est sûr. Je l'aurais vu. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de... Il n'y a pas beaucoup de cachettes là-bas, en vrai. En tout cas, c'est un bel hommage à la meilleure mission du jeu. Ah ouais. Ah, en plein dedans, là. Putain, j'aurais dû... En hommage, j'aurais dû prendre le pass. Le pass de Yui. Pendant une seconde, je me suis dit, il va être là. Je trouve qu'ici, il y a de bonnes chances. Ici, à la zone suivante, il y a de bonnes chances, quand même. Mais tout du coup, t'as oublié de regarder derrière le bon caillou. J'ai l'impression d'avoir regardé derrière tous les cailloux, quand même. Hein. Oh, les gens de la VOD, je suis désolé, vous avez vraiment un... Peut-être le pire parti de mes streams, là. Putain, il est là! Saloperie! Tiens, je te body check. Connard. Ah. C'était du gâteau, non? Ouais. Et en plus, quand je suis repassé dans l'autre sens, je suis pas passé de ce côté-là, je suis passé à la zone en bas. Bah oui. C'est bon, on vient de passer 15 minutes. On a fait 15 minutes dessus. Wesh. J'ai envie de crever. J'ai retrouvé notre ami Kaz. Ah putain, en plus il parle pas. Bon sang, j'étais à 2 doigts. Splendide, beau travail Snake. Je me suis dit je vais imiter un accent russe, mais je le fais pas bien. J'étais à 2 doigts. Avec de la chance, il s'échappe plus. On croise les doigts. On croise les doigts. Oh, il l'a fait 3 fois, c'est bon. Ah mais du coup, par contre, les trucs sont finis de, de développer. Bon, on va vite distribuer tout le monde, là. Je vais pas dire, hein, mais lui, là, on dirait Olivier de Cadet Olivier. Voilà. Il lui ressemble. Let's go, le Mosin Nagant. On lance la production. Hop. Ok. Et on va faire la petite sauvegarde qui va bien. Et je vous remercie d'avoir suivi cette VOD, chers amis. Je vous dis à très bientôt pour une nouvelle VOD. J'espère que ça vous a plu. Si vous avez aimé la vidéo, aimez la vidéo. Si vous avez aimé la vidéo, laissez un commentaire sous la vidéo. Et si vous avez aimé la vidéo, abonnez-vous à la vidéaste et on se voit à la prochaine vidéo. Salut!